Hello everybody, I'm meteorologist Ashley Smith here in the First Alert Streaming Center and of course here for 19 at noon. I was about to say I don't think I've done this in a while, but I guess it was probably like last Tuesday. So, and of course I have my streaming show on the weekends too at 11 a.m. both Saturday and Sunday, so if you can tune in for that. But Frank is off all week, so we have some wonky schedules in the weather department, but I will be with you on 19 at noon Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And then Ethan Emery Thursday and Friday. So just a small disruption to this, but to our newscast, it's a little bit more of a change. So either way, we are going to be talking about what is now Tropical Storm Beryl. Of course, initially, when Beryl first developed, it became the earliest Category 4 hurricane ever on record in the Atlantic Ocean. And now it made landfall in Texas as a Category 1 hurricane early this morning, around 5:15 this morning, our time. And it is expected to bring us some impacts in the coming days. Impacts look smaller, less impactful than what they did initially. Rain's not going to linger as long, that kind of thing. So we'll kind of dive into that as well. As always, if you're watching on Facebook, you can leave a comment, questions, whatever it may be. And I will be sure to answer those. And then soon we're going to be opening up comments on YouTube as well. So if you've ever watched a YouTube live and you can see those comments flooding in, we're going to be doing that as well. Right now we are broadcasting on YouTube. We don't have the chat section open. Okay, I'm going to be able to show you, by the way, right before I came on here, even though I didn't have a ton of time because I had to do the 11 o'clock show, I was able to pull up a feed of what's happening in Texas right now. I believe it's near Houston, so we'll show you that. It's not as bad as it once was, but hopefully that feed is still up because I don't control it, but I was able to see it. So first, let's talk about what's happening here at home. If you were with me yesterday when I did my streaming show, I mentioned I have like a really dry throat. I think it's honestly just from talking a lot because I don't normally do this many shows, but yeah, I think it's just taking its toll on me. But I could also have some sort of like an allergy. So if I cough or have to take a drink, you know why. Somebody said that their family had the same thing and then it actually turned into a full-blown sickness. I'm hopeful that's not going to happen, but we'll see. Okay, so we are looking at, of course, some big impacts from Tropical Storm Beryl. Actually, so this is we're going to look at a couple different views of this. So this is the big picture. What I want to show here is how, of course, here's the rain from Beryl, of course, continuing to move inland from Texas. But look at how a lot of this is Beryl. I mean, even here in the tri-state, we're starting to see some of that cloud cover from Beryl. Now, there was a system off to the west, and that's really the rain that you see here in St. Louis. It's almost going to get swallowed up by Beryl. So it's all going to kind of combine into one system. Now, normally I would say that, and when you say that two systems are combining, it sounds terrible. It's not so bad. It is still going to bring more impacts than maybe if it was just Beryl or if it was just that front. But the other good thing is, because that front has a forcing mechanism from west to east, it's actually going to force Beryl to move out quicker than what we initially thought. So in that respect, it's actually a good thing. I keep thinking I'm going to spill this and then engineering is going to get really mad at me, but I can't do this without a drink. It's impossible. Notice here on the banner how it goes from Hurricane Beryl and then it says Tropical Storm Beryl. What happens is that this is a loop. It goes back in time. So it was a hurricane, then the advisory came out. The 11 o'clock advisory actually had already downgraded it to a tropical storm. This is now saying the latest advisory is at noon. It did change the speed and the direction ever so slightly. Winds are still 70 miles per hour. That's what it was at 11. But it's starting to get a little bit less organized, which is good news as it's kind of impacting with more land masses. So, of course, we want it to continue to weaken. Here is the current track of Tropical Storm Beryl, eventually making that northeasterly turn in the next couple of days and bringing us that chance for rain. Now, let me see if they still have the feed up. Okay. And actually, okay. I think that I might be able to take this full. Yes. So this is what's happening right now in Houston. Obviously a very large semi trying to go through some of that high water. Look at how windy it is. Everything blowing around with those strong wind gusts. This is from KPRC, and this is a live feed. They're probably actually gathering video right now. That's why it's kind of, they're focusing and moving the shot. Oh, look at that car. Wow. This is, first of all, I feel like I need to say this, even though I shouldn't have to say this. You should never do this. You should never drive through a flooded roadway. I mean, that water could so quickly kind of swallow. I mean, look how deep it is in the wheel wells of that vehicle. The National Weather Service says 6 inches of water is enough to sweep your car away. So, ugh. And the other thing is, you don't know what's underneath that. You don't know. There could be a manhole cover that's missing, and now you've got damage to your car, and now you've slipped into that. Oh, I didn't realize this is actually like a big shopping center. I hadn't seen the wide view. Look at these people. Like this person's turned out like chaos, right? I mean, what a mess. You know, it's not unusual for Houston to take a hit from a tropical storm or even a hurricane. Yes, kudos to the camera person for clearing it off from all of that moisture. But yeah, this is kind of an active scene. Obviously, and that semi is trudging along slowly. You see that cone in the middle of the street. I mean, who knows what that's there for? What it's trying to cover. So I could watch this all day. I mean, these people I get it. They're trying to leave their house. They're probably trying to get to an area that's not flooded, but at what cost, right? So anyways, they did have some evacuation orders and all that kind of stuff. So, okay. So, we're definitely going to have an impact from Beryl. There's no doubt about it. We're going to have thunderstorms likely on Tuesday, rain chances on Wednesday. So Wednesday is more of that off and on rain. I'll show you the models and how they depict that coming up. I think it speeds up enough that the flooding threat and the rainfall totals are going to be less, but I do think we still see some impact. Okay, I'm going to, maybe we'll check this out at the end again, but whew. Actually, I'll leave it, yes, I'll leave it so that I can do this. I'll do that. That's actually, yeah, that's helpful. Okay, so let's get back into the forecast. Just want to, again, stress the fact that we actually do need the rain around here. So while this is going to be impactful to outdoor events, we actually do need it. So in that respect, it's actually not a bad thing. Should we prepare for power outages? Definitely possible. I would say no more than a normal summer thunderstorm, because our wind speeds are going to be like 30 to 40 miles per hour. So it's not going to be like what they're seeing there with 70 mile per hour sustained winds, and gusts are even higher than that. Hello, Becky. Melvin, it is nice out, but it's hot, right? I actually had a pretty good weekend. I went running both days and was miserable both days, but hey, you know, that it is what it is. Lately I've been trying to take off either Saturday or Sunday from running, but this week, because I was traveling earlier in the week, I had to run both days. So anyways, that's probably more information. He probably just wanted me to say I had a great weekend. Anyways, parts of the area definitely need the rain. Your lawn probably could use the rain. Temperatures right now in the 80s. So as of noon, we're already at 88 in Harrison, 85 in Florence and Mason, 84 in Milford and in Brooksville. Everybody in the 80s, getting close to that 90-degree mark. Dew points in the 60s. It feels very humid outside. Already a little bit of a heat index. It's actually better. It was 87 last hour. It's now 86, the heat index. That's because the dew point has actually dropped a little bit. But with Beryl getting closer toward us, it's going to be more of a tropical air mass in the coming days. So here's our risk for severe storms. And I actually pulled up more details from the Storm Prediction Center on their threats for us. So here's the deal. Most of the region and at least part of every county in that marginal threat. It's a 1 on a scale of 1 to 5. What it means for us, they actually have us in a 2% threat of tornadoes. While that sounds small, it's still a threat. So, I mean, you know, today it's 0, tomorrow 2. It's actually, the highest I've ever seen that go is like 30%. So, anyways, obviously in some spots it's even higher than that, but especially still a day out. Basically what they're saying, the Storm Prediction Center, and they're saying it in this entire green area, is that we can have weak spin-up tornadoes. What happens is these tornadoes, they spin up very quickly. They do have some winds of maybe 80, 85 miles per hour, but then they spin down very quickly too. So they don't cause a lot of damage, but you obviously don't want to be outside when that happens. The other thing is they have us in a wind threat, 5% of damaging winds. No threat for hail. While we could see small hail, it's not going to be big enough to cause a severe thunderstorm. So that's the threat level there. Actually, let me. Yeah, okay. Okay. I don't think I have winds pulled up here, but we're going to look at the wind speeds as well. We can do this on the fly. Here we go. I was showing this yesterday, so it's there. So today the winds aren't a big deal. As a matter of fact, we would actually probably want a stronger wind today because it's going to be so humid. Tomorrow the winds don't really pick up until the evening. 6 p.m. you're looking at 20 to 25 mile per hour wind gusts. And then on Wednesday, this is much better than it initially looked, but you're still 25, 30 mile per hour wind gusts, maybe 30 to 35 miles per hour during the afternoon hours. And then those winds do start to die down again on Thursday. So enough to cause power outages, certainly, but I don't think it's going to be a widespread issue where we'll have those massive outages that last for a while, or even anything like what we had, was it Thursday on the 4th of July when we had some widespread power outages as well. So yes, it's possible, but I just don't think it's going to be anything significant. Okay, here is a look at, okay, obviously this is the rains from Barrel. Now this is a forecast, this is a model, but it's doing a very good job of where the rain is right now. So we can kind of trust that it's going to do a good job with forecasting that. So again, Barrel really starts to make an impact around here tomorrow afternoon and evening, especially into the evening hours. That rain continues into early Wednesday morning. And then it's kind of off and on showers. Here's going to be the biggest impact. I should actually probably change this pause here. But Wednesday, noon, 3, 4 p.m., that's probably going to be the heaviest rain that we'll see from the remnants of Barrel across our region. So midday on Wednesday. By the time that we get to Thursday, it's dry. This is what I was talking about, how that front is actually going to push Barrel east even quicker than what it initially looked like. So that's a good thing. That's going to help to limit the amounts of rainfall. And we'll get much needed rain, maybe not quite as much as we could really use. We could really use a nice steady soaking rain. I don't really think we're going to get that. I'm going to look at it. Okay, yeah. One of the forecast models. Okay, so, but yes, it is going to be a steady enough rain and something that we need for sure. So if you're looking at, oh, should I cut the grass? Well, my grass is still pretty dead, so I'm gonna hold off until after the rain. But I would say by Thursday, it's gonna be dry. Great day to get out there and do that yard work. Saturday, small chance for rain, a better chance for showers and thunderstorms on Sunday. Still going to be isolated in nature, but again, still definitely a possibility that we'll have those storms on Sunday. And then the middle of next week, again, seeing more storms. Here's a look at rainfall totals. We're looking at an inch or less throughout anything that we get tomorrow and Wednesday, or even lingering into early Thursday morning. And the higher amounts will be to the south and southeast. That's kind of closer to where Barrel is going to track through our region. Okay, let's look at this 7-day forecast. So 92 today, 88 tomorrow. We see cooler air on Wednesday, but of course it also comes with that rain. Thursday and Friday back into the mid to upper 80s and back into the 90s this weekend with that chance for rain on Sunday. Of course, the Reds in town this entire period. Actually, I think for the next 7 days is their homestand before the All-Star break. So I wanted to show you a different model for some of this rain. By the way, let me show you what's going on in Houston while I pull that up. Definitely looks ominous, but oh, look at the roads are just empty, which I guess is probably a good thing. Okay, let's talk about this model. This is the high resolution rapid refresh, or the HER model. And it is different than what I showed you earlier. So starts to bring in at least a small chance for rain tomorrow morning, but no thunderstorms. Thunderstorm chances do increase Tuesday afternoon. I'm gonna have to bring this back. Okay, slow down, lady. So here are the thunderstorm chances tomorrow as early as 3, 4 p.m. And actually this model keeps us a lot warmer too. We have the high tomorrow at 88. And then spotty thunderstorms continue into the evening hours. So late Tuesday night into early Wednesday morning is when we actually could have some of those strongest thunderstorms. And then it just transitions over to showers throughout the day on Wednesday. Okay, let me try and catch up here. You guys can look at Houston while... Okay, I think I'm caught up on answering your questions. Let me check. Beryl is going northwest of Cincinnati, not southeast. Okay, so let me show you again. Oh, I forgot that I was showing you the wrong thing. Okay. So here's what happens right now and throughout much of the day today. Beryl is going to look like a hurricane or a tropical storm, but then it starts to really get shredded as it moves over the plain states, starts to move closer toward the tri-state, and it really almost just becomes basically looking like a cold front, at least no longer has that kind of counterclockwise distinct flow. I mean, it will be moving counterclockwise, but it's not quite as distinct as it looks today. So then here comes that rain. So at this point, and this is again tomorrow evening, it's hard to find the center of Beryl. Now the center of circulation is really going to be kind of here in southern Illinois. That is going to sweep almost directly through the area. So it's kind of like splitting hairs to say if it's northwest or southeast of Cincinnati. We do take almost a direct impact from the remnants of Beryl because it has to sweep from west to east through the tri-state. Now, even though I say that, that doesn't mean that we're going to get the heaviest rainfall that anybody will see from this storm. It just basically means that we do see Beryl move right over top of us in some capacity. And this will change. It's very difficult to predict. You know, the Beryl has just now made landfall. It's now going to interact with all of these land masses. It's going to interact with the cold front that's already out there, and that will kind of change the evolution of Beryl as it moves closer toward our region. But there it just looks like a cold front tomorrow afternoon, you know, as it sweeps through kind of west to east through the area. Either way, we're going to see some rain, especially tomorrow afternoon, and then getting out of here pretty quickly. That's probably the biggest change, is that it moves through much, much quicker. The other thing is that I want to point out is when you look at the tropical track of Beryl, which I think is way up here, which this comes from the National Hurricane Center. Yeah, we need the rain, and we're going to have an impact from Beryl, so that's why we care. Okay, and some people might be vacationing down in the Gulf this week, and you know, unfortunately, they're going to be impacted by that. So when you look at this track of Beryl, and again, the line is the center of the track, but the reason why that cone gets bigger and bigger the further out you go in time is because the confidence decreases the further out you go. And that's with any forecast. You know, the closer we are, the more accurate we can be. The further out you go, the less accurate that forecast gets. The center of Beryl could be anywhere within this cone. So we could be right over the center of that low pressure system. By the time it gets here, it's basically a tropical depression. Or it could be northwest of us. This is the kind of the cone of uncertainty. So it could be anywhere within this cone. Right now, this is the most most consistent path, or this is the path that the models are saying that it will take right now, is kind of that yellow line. But it could be as far east as basically right over top of downtown Cincinnati. It could be as far west as, oh gosh, the Indiana-Illinois border. So that's kind of, again, the cone of uncertainty. It's only a couple of days away, though, so the uncertainty is less and less when you get to that point. It's also moving quicker than it was last hour. I think it's a little bit, I think it was like 12 miles per hour. It's now northeast at 13 miles per hour. So, okay. Here's another, well, actually, I'll put it here. So, yeah, there were some cars kind of turned around there. Again, this is a live feed from KPRC, which is in Houston. I've only been to Houston once in my life, so I'm a little bit unfamiliar with these highways, but not a little bit, I'm a lot unfamiliar. They're losing service. This is kind of like their version of a storm tracker. They have a camera in the car that's always rolling. So yeah, no, it doesn't look terrible. The roads are pretty empty, so I think a lot of people heeding those evacuation orders or just staying put until that storm passes, which again, this is where Beryl is right now. So yeah, so we'll have some impacts tomorrow with some thunderstorms, and then off and on rain on Wednesday. So yeah, so still continuing to track Beryl, just because it will have the impacts for us here at home as well through the coming days. So This is a look at it on radar right now. Okay, so I think that is all that I have for you right now. I will be back at 3 and 4 o'clock for your weather forecast. We're also going to talk about the anniversary of the Goshen tornado. That was actually on Saturday, but because of different time constraints, we haven't been able to talk about it too much. But today's the day we're going to be able to talk about it on the newscast. So hopefully, hopefully we can talk more about that. Okay, so I think that's all that I have for you right now. Thank you guys so much, everyone, for joining me here on 19 at noon. I'll see you at 3 o'clock this afternoon.